Sam, you were on co-coms for a ridiculous game over at Pride Park at the weekend. I want to talk about what we can learn from such a ridiculous game. Obviously, I'm talking about Derby 3, Coventry 5. Just put your boots back on in your player's hat. How does a game get like this though? Because in theory, this is a football failure if a game gets this loose, isn't it? Have you played in games where you're like, oh, this is gone. All sense of logic has flown out the window within 5 minutes.
Yeah, of course. That's a test. Probably the one latterly in my career that stands out was a 5-4 St Mirren victory over Ross County for all of you football purists. Um, don't ask me how I ended up playing up there, but I had to pinch myself at times. But yeah, that was the last one I recall. I think we were 4-3 down and recovered to win 5-4, which was mayhem. In terms of Saturday, I just think there's loads of little ingredients probably that I kind of put together and accumulatively was what we saw. I think for Derby, I think there probably is a little bit of John Eustace having had the summer to rebuild. Maybe that sense that he wants to be a little bit more expansive this year. Probably not be so reliant on the structure of the team and defending the box and all the things they did so wonderfully well under him last year. So I think there's probably a nod towards that. I thought in the midfield they were a little bit light, despite I think Thompson having a really good game. We think back how good Ozo was this time last year when he joined from Crystal Palace. He's not had much football at all, and I just felt they were a bit open in
He came
midfield.
quite late back on loan, did he, Ozo? It was only a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, obviously they would have been incredibly keen to get him,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's not had much football at all, and he just, those kind of interceptions and kind of anchoring the midfield where he's so good. He was just a yard off, so and he tired as well. So I felt they were a lot more open than maybe I'd seen Derby County under John Eustace previously. The mitigating circumstances are his injuries. Obviously, I think Beck, Nelson, Langas probably all get into that.
Agyemang,
Yeah,
Salverson, Wilson, and Blackett Taylor, footmob tells me.
yeah. So higher up the pitch, yeah, issues. But I wanted to focus on the defensive
Oh,
issues
sorry.
that were obviously there. Danny Bat and Sanderson just looked a little bit off the pace. Not had a consistent back three, back five throughout the preseason and during the first game. So I think there's three defenders that probably would be in his back five that aren't available. So yeah, they just had a bit of a capitulation defensively. Zetterstrom obviously didn't cover himself in glory with the first goal either, despite the wonderful delivery that Victor Torp put in. So yeah, a lot of questions I think ahead of the next round of games for Derby, and it'll be interesting to see if John Eustace kind of reverts the type while he's got all these issues bubbling under. Um, Coventry, similarly, Ben,
Well, we didn't think they were going to be able to score any goals, and then I mean we were worrying about striker position, and
mm,
then we have five different goal scorers in this one, and had you right down the middle.
yeah, I suppose the two standout things that I'm thinking about this morning as we talk is Thomas and Kitching have been a brilliant partnership towards the tail end of last season. I think 5 in 6 games, league games, have been clean sheets at home. And that was a corner that they really had to turn. So they've got that spot on. Thomas is obviously probably going to be off. Are we saying that now? I think I've read
Well, is this a
Brentford.
Sheffield United link?
I think I've read Brentford and Burnley as
Oh,
well this
oh, okay.
morning.
If Premier League's in, then I didn't
Yeah,
realise that. Yeah.
which puts a different slant on things. Obviously, I think they're interested in. I've probably got this messed up, but they're certainly interested in one or two centre halves. So anyway, I just thought they were poor. Thomas was poor, which is a rarity
Mm.
defensively at the weekend. Obviously, gave away that kind of comical handball. And the other side of it, the 5 goals. I think last year towards the end, when I was going to Coventry games, pressure, high pressure games, the over reliance on Radoni was so evident to me. a lot of build-up play going through him, the license to go wherever he pleased, really get on the ball and make them tick, and he be the one probing, but also the ball going wide and the target being Radoni in the box. On Saturday, for his standards, really quiet game and 5 goals from other sources, which was, I would presume, a huge plus for Frank Lampard coming away from the game. As ever, between these two sides, certainly Derby, certainly Coventry, second half of the season, 6 goals out of 8 from set pieces. So to be expected probably on that front, some comical defending, but we know, how strong both those teams are. Some excellent, especially defenders at attacking the ball in the opposite area. So surprising at the ease that the teams were allowed to score when you think of that physicality defensively.
Yeah, exactly. And if there's one manager, well, maybe apart from Rowett at Oxford, if there's one manager you trust defensively, it's Eustace. You say Eustace pushing to be more expansive. Frank was a bit dismissive in his post-match, basically saying they were extremely direct, but you're expecting that to change maybe with, or maybe in a less basketball-y game.
Yeah, well, quite a lot of stuff I've read. And yeah, we witnessed as well at the weekend. I think playing Ibu Adams higher, on one side of the coin, it means that he can go and hunt the ball in the final third, and he's devastatingly good at that.
Oh, you had his numbers last season. He was right up there, wasn't he, for winning the ball back?
I think he made 9 tackles at Stoke or interceptions in the final third, or 9 attempted tackles, and he won 8 of them. So it shows that, if they are going to have intensity at the front, there's no one better than him, hunting it, winning it, either getting a shot away himself, as he did at the weekend to score, or supplying one of the forward players. But what it does do, it means that you can have Thompson, who I thought was really good with the ball, actually. He's quite lightweight, Thompson, but he really grew in confidence in the game, and I think it was a little bit of a surprise inclusion. And also, I would say David Ozo is better on the ball than Ibu Adams. So having those two anchor in the midfield says to me that there's an opportunity, and there's going to be occasions when the centre halves and the goalkeeper play through the midfield rather than bypassing that. So I think that's been a little bit of a indication that they don't want to be so direct this season. And I also saw a good variety, or I saw a want to be varied in the build up. Zetterstrom not going long on all occasions, and them looking to build. So, yeah, listen, it might be a season where they have to evolve, and they may have to revert to get some points on the board.
Easy to do when you got Big Morris up front. He's horrible, isn't he, to mark? Yeah,
and I suppose the thing as well, Ben, like when you're behind the 8 ball and you're kind of needing snookers. Yeah. Not the easy way, but the natural way is to say, right, let's build from the back. Let's be hard to score against, and let's be, realistic that our best chance is probably to score from dead balls or deliveries. Start of the season, there's probably a little bit more of a blank canvas. So I think that's what we're talking about here. And maybe some short-term pain, especially with the injuries for Derby, for a bit of long-term gain.
Just quickly on Coventry, Sam, to round this out. You mentioned last season, and all I remember is you keep going up there to do TV, and like they'd win late on, or they'd win in stoppage time, and they had loads of momentum, Coventry. When you have a pre-season, does that just disappear? And can you the kind of intangible, the vibes thing when you've had a winning run? Can you just kind of step back into those shoes in a new season? Because if they do, they're going to be right up there, Coventry.
Well, I think they had the wobble, didn't they, towards the tail end? Was it the late spring where they? I think they lost 5 of the last 10 games, if memory serves. So it wasn't plain sailing. Won well against Middlesbrough final day. I think I said to you previously, I don't see Coventry suffering a hangover, because Frank Lampard, Chris Jones, Joe Edwards, the staff that have come in, it's all still relatively fresh, considering it was at the turn of the year or whenever it was. So I don't see that being a problem. I see someone like Ephraim Mason-Clark as an example of someone, big season for him, second season proper in the Championship. He was electric at the weekend. It'd be amiss of me not to talk about him and Victor Torp, who were the two best players on the pitch. And Torp's not been a permanent fixture. He's been a bit in and out of the side, but my goodness me, he's got great quality and could be a massive player for them this season. I suppose I wouldn't say it's a negative, but there's not loads of new blood, is there? There's
Well, there might be, Sam. If we end the window and Thomas and Van Evik have both been sold, then I know they've already got Kessler Hayden and they sold Binks as well, so they'd probably do a centre back then, wouldn't they? Certainly some inward business, wouldn't there?
Yeah. I think a centre back. I made that point at the weekend that they were pretty well stocked in that department last year, but with some players departing and some players unavailable, I think Bidwell played there in the cup the other day. So yeah, they're going to need some bodies in, especially if they lose Thomas and maybe one or two others. So yeah, Kessler Hayden obviously for Van Eyck is a perfect option to come in, and he'll be a great addition for them. I'm not saying you need new additions, new blood. I think the squad's probably strong enough to definitely be in the top 6 already, but maybe it would just give the squad a little bit of a lift, and a few different facets to it wouldn't harm. But I think loads of pluses for them, and probably the main, to go back to it, the goals and the opportunities, not being overly reliant on Jack Radoni to create or score them.
There you go. That is Sam's decoding of a weird and wonderful, ridiculous game over at Pride Park. Let us know if you were at the game. Let us know your comments. We are a bit strapped for time today, so we'll do a full Championship check-in next week. I've got a couple of days off coming up, so I'm doing 4 days work in 2 days, and Sam's off to Walsall for the is it the EFL Cup or League Two or something?
League
tonight?
Two, yeah. I think 4th v 7th, if memory serves. So Grimsby have had a great start. They go to Walsall, who obviously were beaten League Two playoff finals last year. So two teams who, if the early season run-in is anything to go with, could be around promotion again.
So check in. I know we promised it this week. Full show next week, but we are about to record the predictions. So check them out.